From the cobbled streets of Lisbon to the Brandenburg Gate, a sea of humanity has risen in defiance. Millions have taken to the streets, their voices echoing with a potent blend of anger and hope. This isn't just about trade wars or tariffs, though those are certainly factors. It's about a visceral rejection of the policies emanating from Washington, policies perceived as a direct assault on the values Europe holds dear. The sheer scale of the protests is staggering. Never before has a U.S. president faced such widespread condemnation on foreign soil. This isn't just a few isolated incidents, it's a continent-wide uprising, a collective roar of disapproval that's impossible to ignore. The message is clear. Europe will not stand idly by as its values are trampled underfoot. In London, the heart of a nation with historically close ties to the United States, the mood is somber yet resolute. The air is thick with a sense of urgency and a collective call for change. People from all walks of life have gathered, united by a common cause. Trafalgar Square, a historic site of celebration and protest alike, is now a sea of placards and banners. The square, which has seen countless demonstrations over the years, is once again a focal point for public dissent. Proud American Ashamed reads one sign, capturing the sentiment of many expats present. These words resonate deeply, reflecting a profound sense of disillusionment and disappointment with the current state of affairs. The iconic lions flanking Nelson's column seem to bear witness to the unfolding drama with a mixture of stoicism and sadness. These statues, symbols of strength and resilience, now stand as silent observers to the people's outcry. Chants of "Hands off Canada," "Hands off Greenland" echo through the air, a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of global politics and the far-reaching impact of national decisions. "Hands off Ukraine" reverberate through the square, a clear message of solidarity with nations caught in the crosshairs of Trump's increasingly isolationist policies. The crowd's unified voice underscores the importance of standing together against perceived injustices. Speakers decry the erosion of democratic norms, the blatant disregard for international law, and the divisive rhetoric emanating from the White House. Their words strike a chord with the audience, who respond with applause and renewed determination. There's a palpable sense that the special relationship between the UK and the US is being tested like never before. The bond that has long been a cornerstone of international diplomacy now faces unprecedented challenges as both nations navigate a complex and rapidly changing geopolitical landscape. Paris, the City of Lights, is aglow with the fire of resistance. At the Place de la République, a symbol of revolution and republican ideals, the air crackles with defiance. The spirit of liberté, égalité, fraternité is alive and well, as French citizens and American expats alike raise their voices in unison against what they perceive as an assault on those very principles. "Resist tyrant," proclaims one banner, its message stark and unambiguous. Others bear slogans like "Rule of Law," "Feminists for Freedom, not Fascism," and "Save Democracy." The diversity of the crowd is striking. Students, artists, intellectuals, workers, families with young children, all united in their opposition to Trump's agenda. A lone figure stands on a makeshift platform, strumming the chords of Bob Dylan's Masters of War, his voice a poignant reminder of the dangers of unchecked power. Berlin, a city that knows a thing or two about walls and divisions, is tearing down another kind of barrier, the one between complacency and action. The protests here have a distinctly different flavor, targeting not just Trump but also his close confidant, Elon Musk, the enigmatic tech mogul who now heads the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. The epicenter of the Berlin protests is a Tesla showroom, where demonstrators have gathered with signs bearing slogans like "Shut up, Elon," "No one voted for you," and "Dogecoin, the only thing Doge should control." A particularly poignant image captures the mood. A dog, outfitted with a sign reading "Dogs Against Doge," sits patiently by its owner, a silent but powerful symbol of the widespread opposition to Musk's growing influence on government policy. Section 5. Frankfurt's cry, the heart of finance speaks. Frankfurt, the financial powerhouse of Germany and the Eurozone, adds its voice to the chorus of dissent. This city, known for its towering skyscrapers and bustling financial district, is now a stage for political expression. The streets, usually filled with business professionals, are now crowded with passionate protesters. Organized by the expat group Democrats Abroad, the protest at Opernplatz, the city's central square, has a distinctly transatlantic feel. The gathering is a melting pot of cultures and nationalities, united by a common cause. The stars and stripes wave alongside the blue and gold of the European Union flag, a visual representation of the interconnectedness that Trump's policies seem determined to unravel. This symbolic display highlights the deep ties between the United States and Europe, ties that many feel are under threat. The slogans here reflect the anxieties of a city at the heart of the global financial system: restore democracy, a call for a return to the values that many feel are being eroded; hands off our personal data, a demand for privacy in an age where data is the new currency, and the world is tired of your bullshit, Donald, be gone. This blunt message captures the frustration and anger of many who feel that their voices are not being heard. The message is clear. Trump's economic policies, particularly his penchant for imposing tariffs, are seen as reckless and destabilizing, threatening to plunge the world into a new era of protectionism and economic uncertainty. The protesters in Frankfurt are not just speaking for themselves, but for a global community that fears the consequences of these policies. Their voices echo through the financial district, a stark reminder that the decisions made by leaders have far-reaching impacts. Section 6. Beyond the capitals. A continent ignited. The protests are not confined to the grand capitals of Europe. They have spread far and wide, reaching even the smallest towns and villages. In these places, the sense of community and solidarity is palpable as people from all walks of life come together to voice their concerns and demand change. From the cobbled streets of Lisbon, where history whispers through every stone, to the picturesque canals of Amsterdam, where the waters reflect the determination of the people, from the ancient piazza of Rome, echoing with the voices of the past, to the majestic fjords of Norway, where nature's grandeur meets human resolve, people are making their voices heard. They are united in their desire for a better future, for themselves and for generations to come. In Dublin, a banner proclaims Ireland rejects Trumpism, a clear statement of the people's stance. In Madrid, protesters chant "No pasarán," they shall not pass, echoing the rallying cry of the Spanish Civil War. This historical reference underscores the depth of their commitment. The message is clear. This is a pan-European movement, a collective outcry that cannot be ignored. It is a groundswell of opposition that transcends national borders and unites people from all walks of life. The diversity of languages and cultures only strengthens their shared purpose, and unites people from all walks of life. From students to seniors, from workers to artists, everyone is playing a part in this historic movement. The protests, while largely peaceful, have not been without incident. The majority of demonstrators are committed to nonviolence, but tensions sometimes flare. There have been reports of scuffles with police as authorities struggle to maintain order amidst the growing unrest, particularly in Paris and Berlin, where the clashes have been most intense. In these cities, the atmosphere is charged and the stakes feel higher, but even these confrontations seem to fuel the resolve of the protesters, who are determined to make their voices heard. Their determination is unwavering and their spirit unbreakable, who are determined to make their voices heard. This is a moment of unity and strength, a testament to the power of collective action. Section 7. The roots of rage, Trump, tariffs, and turmoil. To understand the depth of anger fueling these protests, one needs to look no further than the policies emanating from the Trump administration. The recently imposed tariffs, a cornerstone of Trump's America First agenda, have sent shockwaves through the global economy. While Trump claims these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and industries, critics argue they are counterproductive, harming businesses and consumers on both sides of the Atlantic. But the tariffs are just the tip of the iceberg. Europeans are equally outraged by Trump's attacks on democratic institutions, his disdain for international cooperation, his cozying up to autocrats, and his administration's rollback of environmental protections. Many see Trump's presidency as a threat to the liberal world order that has prevailed since the end of World War II. Section 8. Musk in the crosshairs, the face of technocratic overreach. Elon Musk, once hailed as a visionary entrepreneur, now finds himself cast in a more sinister light. His appointment as head of DOGE, a newly created department with sweeping powers to streamline government operations, has been met with suspicion and alarm. Critics see Musk as a symbol of unchecked technocratic power, someone who is accountable to no one and who prioritizes efficiency over human needs. Musk's advocacy for a US-EU free trade zone and easier work movement between the continents has done little to appease his critics. They argue that such policies would primarily benefit corporations and the wealthy, while doing little to address the concerns of ordinary people. The protests, with their focus on Musk, reflect a growing unease with the increasing influence of big tech in government and society. Section 9. A global reckoning, the fight for a just future. The protests in Europe are not an isolated phenomenon. They are part of a global reckoning, a rising tide of resistance against the forces of nationalism, authoritarianism, and economic inequality. From the streets of Hong Kong to the squares of Santiago, people are demanding a more just and equitable world. The outcome of this struggle remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. The protests in Europe are a stark reminder that the values of democracy, freedom, and international cooperation are not to be taken for granted. They are principles worth fighting for, and the fight is far from over.